This is Kenya's the #1 opera in the world, according to Thorin. You're watching Thorin channel.
Because I think one of the harshest things for me about this time period is if CS2 didn't come out, it's not even like you guys were bad in CS2, but in CSGO you guys were cooking. Like you'd had like the win the Dallas, second at Cologne, second at Game Is It. Like if the game keeps going and nothing changes, who knows? Like as you're saying, everyone was getting hyped. Some Pius was hyped, you were hyped. Snappy was getting status, top X coach, Saw was getting the same shit, you know. Everything was going awesome. Do you feel as though, like, did you like the switch to CS2? Do you wish it would stayed CSGO?
I wish it would stay in CSGO, yes. The picking advantage is... I don't know. Well, it's... You cannot allow the younger age, donk. You have now all the... Monesti, Kyosuke, these players are... grinding like animals, the game. And this is when... It just... CS2 just... pure skill. If you're swinging, you are doing the swing correctly. You're shooting like how they are shooting. You cannot do. You can do the best strats in the world. You cannot stop them.
Right.
And in CS:GO, you can hold an angle, like literally off angle, and these players will do the swing. You will punish them. But right now, because they are so good individually, even if you are doing the best thing to stop them, because they are better than you individually, and they are better than 99% of the scene, even tier 1 scene, they are just killing you even though you're doing the best thing. Even if you are hiding in the best corner, but they are doing like this swing, and you are done. You are done.
Thing is, though, that's actually quite an unselfish opinion to have, NertZ, because you're almost having that opinion for the team and your other team. Some people would say you getting that advantage as well. That's your style, isn't it? Surely you're destroying everyone with the fucking quick peaks and stuff.
Yeah, but it is said. It is said, like, but when you know when I'm coming to donk, I'm watching a lot of donk demos. I'm always trying to understand how does he do it, because he's the best. He's the best. He's the best in the world. And when you are trying to realize, every player needs to understand, you need to watch donk demos to understand how to do it. Because if you are abusing it, you're in the meta. And if you are not, it's easy to play against you. And this is like every player in Spirit are playing this kind of style of donk. You know, when you're always in the situation to pick. And this is not like the CS that I like to play.
Right.
CS that I like to play is to have the off angles, to crouch, to punish the opponents. And I really hope that Valve will do something about it.
Because actually, that's another thing I will say. If someone's a casual fan, the problem I feel like with people like Donk and Monacy is it sounds like all the broadcast people are just like glazing them if you go on and on about how amazing they are. But I'll just say this, NertZ. You're one of the best aggressive riflers in the world. Same thing with Exertion from Mouse, etc. If I ask these players publicly or privately, they all tell me like, oh no, Donk's just on another level to me. Like I can't do the things he does. Like he really is kind of like an alien how good he is, right?
Yeah, he's an alien. I'm telling you, he's the best. I played against Monesi. He took, when I have like pure individual, in pure advantage pick, I need to kill him 200 out of 200. He kills me in a situation that he should not even allow to kill.
Right.
And this is what gave Spirit this fucking advantage in the game. He is in another level. He's better than Messi in football, bro. I don't know what to say.
That's a good line, okay. Right, when it came to CS2, as I say, it's not like ENCE was terrible initially. Obviously, there was only a few tournaments before the roster moves happened. But if people forget, at that like second tournament phase one, that Asia Championship one, that was the one where you guys had to take Vladin. You didn't have the normal lineup. But you guys actually almost beat FaZe and could have been in that final. If no one saw, you played really awesome in this one. And it was super close. Like, I think your team might have even won more rounds in the series than FaZe, mate. Like, this was a chance even with the standard to go to the final in CS2, right?
Yeah, it was a boost for our confidence in CS2 because he forgot one tournament before.
I did it intentionally, it's not that interesting.
We got fucking 13-0 in front of the crowd in Sydney against FaZe. So when we came in, we played with Vladin. I felt that we were so close, and we got like, okay, right now we are in a good spot. We are in a good spot to win in CS2. And Yeah, we were close basically, and it is what it is. Sometimes you're just losing. But for me individually, this is when I felt okay. I'm fine in CS2. Like when you have like this, you don't know what's gonna happen. It's a new game. You just play shit in a fucking IEM Sydney. You don't know. But yeah, in that moment, I realized fine. It's kind of a new game. You just need to learn it, and that's it.
Right, obviously, after this is when I always want to explain to people, even in public, it was messy as to like, well, who is joining Heroic and who's joining Falcons and are they staying in ENCE and all. But I can tell you, behind the scenes, it was even worse. Like, behind the scenes, nobody knew what was happening. If you know, like, Snappy himself doesn't know if he's going to Falcons yet. Is he in ENCE? Nobody knows. Is the whole team going to Heroic? Is it just Saw? Is it just you? Like, is it some pious get to go? Does someone go to Falcon? It was all this drama, and I've heard basically only got resolved like at the last minute. So there was obviously this famous thing where Snappy went out, Glaive came in, so then people initially thought, right, that's the roster move, right? Glaive gets to have ENCE's team, but then obviously it was only for that one lad, it was for that Elisa tournament. Then after that, there was the whole thing of like some players are going to Heroic. Everyone probably remembers they had that weird Heroic lineup at a blast where all the commentators were like, oh, the ENCE players are going to join, and then obviously it was just you joined, naturally, just was Saw. What was going on for you behind the scenes? Like, were you part of all this? Like, was it, like, for example, did you ever think there's a world where we all stay in ENCE, or we all go to Heroic, or you could have gone to Falcons? I mean, this is before people knew maybe you can't go to Falcons. What was going on for NertZ at this time?
So I'll tell you exactly what happened. So at that moment, Snappy decided to move Falcons. I think it was like in October, or it was like in China, in the
Yes.
CAC. We already know that
All right.
Falcon is moving, and we had like a talk between Madden, Salpayos, and me, and said like we want to stick together. I got back then a really good offer from Heroic.
And it was really good, mate. Like very high salary and stuff. It was excellent, right?
Yeah, it was really good, and I said to also, and after it, like I involved Pius, Madden, and Dicha. And what happened? We are saying we talked about let's stick in ENCE. Like I had something in my contract in ENCE that people were fighting that I will change it because they want basically I had a buyout, set buyout.
Right.
And players from my team like it's not fighting, but we said like okay, we want to stick together, but you need to change the you need to do a new contract. And they said it will not happen. Like if I'm gonna stay in ENCE, I will stay with that contract. And after it, I got the heroic and I said okay, good contract or to stay. And also after it, like when the whole thing explodes, like everything we heard about the Falcons, maybe the 3 or 4 months will come to Falcons. ENCE came to me and gave me insanely, I think the best offer in ENCE history.
Oh wow, yeah.
And it was really hard because maybe I will take this one and stay like with the trio and we'll go for heroic. But I felt in that moment that I need a new team because maybe we are taking now we are gonna leave. Falcons took our captain. He's a important piece in our puzzle, and I said, let's build something with so in heroic.
Right, obviously, I'm just going to leave you to say whatever you want on this topic. But I've heard, because at the time, remember, no one knows anything beyond the game and esports. We're all just nerds. So a lot of people were thinking, like, why doesn't NertZ go to Falcons? Or will NertZ one day join Falcons? In fact, this has obviously happened to other players. Think about Heavy God when he was just a nobody player. He's someone you want to make up from OG. Or Spinx if there's problem with Vitality. Right, essentially, it's never been said publicly, NertZ, these players can't join Falcons. But I've heard behind the scenes that basically is sort of like, I don't know if it's a rule, but it's just reality. Like, I've heard people have tried to get you and people have tried to get some of these players. It's just not on the table. It's not allowed for whatever reason. What would you say to that? Is that accurate?
So I would say I think it's accurate, but I would say I've been in Saudi. It's beautiful country. I now we are talking a little bit politics. I will touch it a little bit. We are close to do normalization.
Oh, okay.
With Saudi. I really hope it will happen because I like when I've been there in the gamer state, the whole thing, like the food, the people I really like, and I don't have any beef
right
around it. I know that the team wanted me in Falcons, and I wanted to join also. But sometimes you cannot do it because of the the background between my country and Saudi. But I really hope, joke aside, like when now we have wars and everything, I really want peace. And for me, that's it. This is what I want to touch. This is what I wanted to say.
Right, you obviously didn't get to play with Glaive very long, and this was actually where that's why I brought up that topic before. The whole time you had Glaive in the lineup, I've even heard even Glaive knows it wasn't necessarily certain that everyone would stay, and everyone in the team sort of knew we might stay, we might go. Like we just said a minute ago, like no one knows the future because there's so many different parties trying to pull the team and the players different ways. You got to play a couple of lands with him though. Just give me some thoughts. What was it like to play with Glaive? Like, did he try to just play snappy style? Did he try to just give you freedom? What did he do? Because in that scenario, I imagine it's hard for him because he can't really build a system till he knows if you're there, right?
Yeah, it was kind of conflict of ideas because Glaive is a set. We know how to play in one way, and Glaive wants to know like to play in another way. And Ruben and Glaive started like try to make us play comfortable in our way, and also try to play their way. And it was. I will not say it was bad. I will not say it was bad, but what I like about Desert is really hardworking guy. He's mature guy. He's how to say it, like he is open for ideas. It's not like not every in-game leader is saying, okay, I don't like it, because you can see that some of the things that we didn't like, but he still done it because we said to him, and he was open for ideas, and the communication that he had, the experience that he had, he was almost the guy that why I stayed in ENCE, because I felt he's important in the team that we had in ENCE.
When you got to go to Heroic and they made this lineup, I actually think this lineup was always underrated, mate, because maybe it doesn't have the craziest names, because obviously, like, it's not the big names from the old Heroic, it's the people that are left over. But if people don't remember, the lineup was basically the same as this last lineup of Heroic, but without degster. It was the one we had Tessus and Shush stayed from Heroic before. kyxsan joined, who actually, by the way, a lot of top teams did want to sign this guy. I've heard he could have even been bigger name squads. And then obviously at the time, this is maybe where it gets interesting, you had Nicodooz, who in theory was like the AWPer, right? I have the first question is that, NertZ, is what's bizarre is people maybe do remember he did AWP, obviously back in like Copenhagen Flames and stuff, but I feel like in CS2, he almost like tried to be the rifler a lot of the time. In fact, he actually seemed better on the rifles. What was going on with that? Like, did he not want to be the AWPer? Does he not? At the time, I know maybe AWP wasn't as powerful. What was the story with that? What do you think the situation was that?
I think Nico, we knew before when we bought him, we knew that he liked to play rifle. But we said we didn't like really, because he has like individual skill. He's one of the best in my opinion, at least.
Oh, okay.
And we realized during the time when we are, for example, playing overpass, when we are playing two rifles in overpass, teams like just make it comfortable for them just to take contact because they know there is no op.
Right.
So this is something that it was really hard, because Nico, he was one of the best in our team, but we need like an AWPer. So yeah, we realized that we are lacking something, that people are not afraid to play against us.
What about that squad in general, though? Because I actually feel like the fact that you guys didn't have an AWPer, I think if anyone doesn't have one major role filled in a team, the team's always going to be somewhat not as good as it could be. It's going to be hard to be the best team. The rest of the squad, though, I actually always thought that squad was underrated. It's why when degster joined, look, I'm also a degster fan, but I also thought this team would be really good one day. Because I remember looking and thinking, if you think how in CSGO we built the roles in squads, this team, once you got degster in theory, has everyone doing their proper role, right? Everyone, like, if people don't know, the reason why I wasn't surprised at all, by the way, that Tessus is good in Falcons is he wants to do that role. No one's forcing him to and telling him you have to go first. Like, he's one of those guys like Madden wants to fucking go and open the game up and stuff. And Shush likes to play the support roles and do all the shit and be unsighted. It's kind of like it was actually like a well-built team by Soft, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was. We came. It was really. Thorin, first of all, it's really hard to build a team from scratch. Like,
sure.
When it came to Heroic, like all the protocols and everything for what they know and what I know, it's really different. It's not like we need to talk about every time about the small details. It's sometimes it takes at least 6 months to be on the same page. And I would say something about this. This guy mechanically is insane, and he's always thinking about the team. And I know when they went as a trio to Falcons, I know this guy will shine, and he will keep shining. He will be above 112 rating every time.
Right.
And he's a good teammate, a good player, and I will say even no matter what, I will say even good soldier. No matter what he will do, he will say swing for me, jump for me. He will do it. With huge respect to this guy, really professional guy, really professional.
What about when you guys went to Katowice? You actually were like almost in the playoffs. People forget this. You were one of the teams, by the way, like Vitality, that just was left just out. So I actually always thought this is one of the ones where if you'd have made the playoffs, maybe people would have given this team credit. A lot of people like weren't hyping the squad at the time. Was the team already good, even with all the issues of maybe you don't have the AWP? So things were working. I mean, you were in really good form.
We were decent. We always were. We were close, so close. Even in Chengdu, even in Katowice, we lost to G2 before. Before a playoff, and we were not. I don't feel like we had it. We had it as a team. I felt it. We had it as a team with degster. This is when I felt like we are building habits. We are building the way how we like to play. It took time, but this is when I felt like okay, we can go through a lot of playoff with the roster.
When it came to the PGL Copenhagen Major, the first major of CS2, I actually think this is one of those ones where if someone looks on like Wikipedia notes and they see that like, oh, the team was just in the Swiss system, they didn't make it, they're going to think, oh, well, it just wasn't that good a team. This is actually one of the worst, like, you know the term like blue balls? It's one of the worst teases I've ever seen, Nertz, because there's a point in that Swiss system where you guys were rolling, you'd beaten FaZe, you were in this game against Complexity, and basically if you close this out, actually I think you would have made a playoff team. You were like a sleeper. I think I had you in my pick-up and everything. And suddenly, there's like a moment where it just goes badly, and then everyone just plays like shit the whole way out and just loses the tournament. Do you know what I mean? Give me some thoughts on this tournament. It seems wild. It's like 1 or 2 rounds difference, I feel like.
Thorin, I had exactly the same as Paris Major. We were winning everyone in the Challenger, 3-0. You're winning the first game in the Legend stage, and you're getting smashed after this. I'm always ask myself why it's happening. Like if it's like you don't have the energy, if you got slapped in the face and you cannot go back to it. I didn't understand what's going on. I didn't understand, and until this day I don't even know. And it's like we are playing in high level CS, and in one moment you became the shittiest team in the world.
Sure. By the way, what is your style? Look, I don't expect every player to be like a captain or something. What is your style? Are you the kind of guy where do you try to be like a social aspect? Are you trying to bring people up? Do you just focus on your own game? Are you trying to get your performance up? What do you do when you're in tough scenarios? How do you deal with it?
Yeah, what do you mean tough scenarios?
Like if you're in like this example, like you're in a big pressure game and things are going badly, what's your style? Do you try and just figure out your own game? And what's your approach to it? How do you try and fix things?
So in the last 5-4 months, I practiced it's called mindfulness, and it is I practiced about the visualization.
Okay.
These two things helped me a lot as a player. You can see my stats. I became a better player, and also you can feel like you're a very, how to say it. You're comfortable with the situation we are in. You're stable mentally, and this is what helped me. Like with maybe people saying, "What the fuck is?" Do something like, you know what I mean? Like this kind of stuff, this mindfulness, the breathing technique, and like the visualization. When you're visualize the crowd and everything, just help you to be in the game, help you to be in the moment. And I recommend for every player to try to do research about it.
I mean, a lot of famous sports stars do it as well, right? Like I know that tennis players and stuff are doing this. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a lot. This is what this is what made me to do it.
Right.
And it gave me this extra like some extra percentage to be a better player.
Right, when degster joined this team, give me some thoughts. Because first of all, one thing people might forget, NertZ, is since you know Flames, well, if everyone knows that meme where degster slaps everyone's hands, it was always Flames' hand he was fucking slapping in OG. So did you already know from Flames what this guy was going to be like? Was it like a team decision to get, what was it like to bring this guy out? Because I will say, even though I'm a fan, it was a risk. He hadn't played CS2. He'd been out of the game for ages. And in fact, because he was out of the game, I'll even say some people might wonder, like, oh, is that because, teams don't want him? You never know. There's rumours circle around. What did you think about getting degster into the team?
I didn't like it at the start. I said it also to himself because I heard bad things about him, and I heard also good things. But after I played with him, this guy is the honest player. He will tell you what he think, not in a bad way. He will tell you, "Hey, guy, can let's go together one-on-one. I want to go through what we did in the last game." He will tell you what he think, and this is what this little improvement, this like small gimmicks that you are doing during the game, it help you. And he was good player. He was a good teammate. I enjoy a lot to play with degster. So all of what I heard, sometimes you heard a lot of bad things about the players, and when you are not playing with him, when you are playing with him, you realize that's not the case.
Right.
And also, sometimes you are playing in a team that had OG. Well, they are a graveyard for players. Sorry to tell you, like,
yeah, it's true.
People are talking about like the players talking about other players in the team, and sometimes it's just the team about this kind of stuff. And when you have a good people around you, it just make you better person, better player. So I feel like it was like that.
Give me some thoughts on kyxsan as an in-game leader. Like, I've heard maybe he's like a little bit looser, like he allows people to play a bit. What type of agile is he?
I think kyxsan is a really smart player and he's really smart player and also knows exactly how to say it. Him and so build a lot of rounds together. They were working at the start really hard, and he did everything to make us comfortable with like Snappy, but individually he was better than Snappy. But I would say like the mid round, he was really good. He knew what to do mid round, so this is what I like about him. And also as a person, this guy is funny as hell. He's really, I see him that he has a long future in CS to play. He's also young. He's also smart. He's a funny guy. Yeah, I know this guy will win a lot.
When you guys came into this last season after the player break, people will see that like after the first few tournaments, which are just like kind of whatever results, suddenly it gets really good. Like there's the IEM Rio run and the major itself, and things are looking really nice, right? In the middle period, like look, degster hadn't played CS for a while. You can even look, his numbers were going up slightly, etc. I'm sure things were getting adjusted within the squad. Was there ever a moment you worried about this lineup? Because there were some tournaments that weren't that great and you were kind of getting beaten by whatever teams. Did you ever worry like maybe that's not the right lineup, or maybe it's just not the right fit? I mean, I've heard behind the scenes people will always offer you teams, mate, and saying, come join our team, come here, because your stats were crazy.
I feel like what we lacked the most, it was the consistency and firepower. This is what we lost a lot of games because of it, and I don't know if we will do a roster change after the major. After the PGL major? PGL, it was PGL.
Yeah.
The last one? Yeah.
Well, Perfect World, well, technically, yeah. Perfect World, yeah.
Perfect World, yeah. So this is... I heard like some talks about potentially, but I didn't know what was the players. But this is something that cost us a lot of games.
Oh, right. Just the fact there's rumours circling around made people not play as well, or the team not play as well.
Also, yeah.
Right. By the way, what about this IEM Rio run? Because if people forget, when you guys beat Vitality in that tournament, Mate, Vitality's one of the best teams. Like, in theory, that means you should actually maybe be able to win the tournament. And I always say, I actually think for real, one of the harshest things for your team specifically is you did everything you're supposed to do. You win all your games. Then because fucking Na'Vi lost in their other game, you have to play them in the semi with the number one team. Like, this should have been the final probably, right?
Yeah. We played really good this tournament. We beat G2, we beat Vitality. We played really, really good. Everyone, like, the players had like I don't know, something happened. Everyone were in their peak, and in the Na'Vi game, I didn't feel like stress. The comms were good, but we couldn't close the fucking match in the second game.
Could have been 2-0, yeah.
It should be 2-0. It should be 2-0.
Yeah.
And it's like it was again. You know, you are always close, and it's not enough. And I was happy for Na'Vi to win the game. Yeah, they played good. They played good.
What is it like to play against them? I mean, you not only played them when they were still really good, but also like you guys were good on Mirage too. But this is when they were like the fucking kings of Mirage, right? What's it like to play Na'Vi?
They're playing very similar to us. So for me, it was it's easy for me to understand what they are doing, but the weird thing that they don't have like Monesi, donk, I win the team, and they're making it like the game, the team play they have in the team. This is what makes them so good. Like these small gimmicks that they have, and they're insane. They don't have donk and Monesi, but they have beat. They have jail. Even wonderful. People are saying bad things about Wonderful, but I feel like he's good support. He's not doing like the flashy picks and everything, but he's huge, stable player that is doing great job. Also, IEM. You know, IEM is doing a tough role, but also this guy is he's playing really good. So they just played. They had an insane year, and they deserve to win IEM Rio for sure.
Right. Obviously, I have to ask you about this Shanghai Major, because not only did HEROIC look good in the tournament anyway, bro, what you just said about that IEM Rio game against Na'Vi completely applies to me for the fucking game against G2. Like, this would have been 2-0. Like, I remember even watching. What's crazy is you ever watch the game, because on Nuke, you guys, like, to close out, had to win on T-side. If you ever watch it, they obviously put all the POVs on the Observer, like Monacy and Nico, etc. And Nico's just farming everyone. Like, it's not like you're doing anything wrong. You do like a normal execute. He's just shooting everyone in the head. Like, this game was ridiculous. And then in the third game, if people forget, that was the one where you were in all these, like, winning situations. And then the Malbs guy just did, like, 1v2s and 1v1s and fucking headshot people out of nowhere. I feel like this is one of those games where I don't even know NertZ. You tell me. I don't even know if I can blame myself if I'm in your game there. It just sort of feels like, how am I supposed to win the game? Like, these guys are just fucking too good.
Even though they had insane game, Malbs had insane game, we should have won it. Like, it's so sad. In my eyes at least, HEROIC was the best team in Mirage. I don't know, like, we lost like 2 games against the Mongols and Na'Vi in Rio and whatever it was before. But G2, I feel like at least, they are not good on Mirage.
Sure.
And we lost 1v3, Thorin. We lost 1v3 that cost us the game
true.
Against Malbs. It's like until this right now I feel like I don't know, bad feeling about it.
Sure, it's like a miracle round, yeah.
I cannot handle it, because I know if it was give us this situation over and over and over again, we will win it, and we will win the game. We will win the best of 3. But this kind of stuff happens every time in CS. So I don't know what to say.
Right, obviously after this, you did this big move to Team Liquid now, which is another squad where, obviously it's a historic squad, it's got some good players, but people thought they needed more firepower too, or they made, obviously in terms of your Kindle, they needed someone who could be an aggressive rifler, etc. Was this an obvious place to go? Were you thinking about other teams as well? Was this just the spot that you wanted to go to? What made you want to join Team Liquid?
So in July 2024, already the first player that I had with HEROIC, they already contacted me. They asked me if I want to go. I was so close to sign, but in the end I felt like I need more time with HEROIC, and in that moment I said to myself, I want to go with liquid. I believe with liquid. Sorry, I believe in twist. I believe enough. I believe in the ultimate is upcoming talent. I feel like that he has a lot to show. JKS is stable player. I feel like he's really good anchor, and it's so nice to be around these players. And maybe Thorin, people don't know. Everyone's saying that I moved to Liquid because Heroic sell the core to.
Oh,
Falcons.
right, sure.
It's the opposite. What happened? I said to the guys, I'm gonna move to Liquid, and after it, Heroic got an offer. Okay, so they said, okay, if NertZ is going, we can sell the team. They sold the team, and
So if you didn't go, the lineup could have stayed. We could have just had Heroic for this year, right?
200%.
Did you ever think about staying?
Of course. Like, so is the big part of it. Like, he's really important for me. Why I wanted to stay in Heroic also.
Right, obviously, if people don't know, in 2023, when you had the awesome year in ENCE, you did get on that HLTV Top 20. You were number 14 on the list. Now, people will know, especially from this year, I actually think I saw a lot of people complain for the first time where people like Elige, like, they're obviously fucking amazing players, but their team never was in the playoffs, so they had to be like at the bottom of the top 20. So I think people finally understand it. So the list isn't really, these are the best players in order of like who you'd pick to start a team. It's based on like how far you go in tournaments, if you get the EVPs, etc. Right, this last year, no matter how well you played, your team just wasn't in enough playoffs. You weren't making the semis. You didn't win any tournaments. Do you think, obviously in 2023, you were very good. In 2024, ignoring like this aspect, were you actually an elite player, do you think? Like, were you good enough to be on that list if the team had gone far enough, do you think?
For sure. In the last 6 months, I was the top 10 players. Maybe I had a rough year at the start of Heroic, but the last 6 months, for sure, there is no doubt I would say I was top 10. But I like what HLTV made about the top 20 players. It's about to go through playoff, crowd, big events, this kind of stuff. I feel like it's important. I think it's important. Because I will not say the name of the players, but there are some players that they have zero impact. They're not doing anything with their team. Like somehow they are ending up like in the top 20, and I don't see that how it works. And this is something that I feel like it was a good change for Major TV.
Fair enough. What about, an obvious question is, if I tie it to the beginning of the interview, when you said about how you felt like you basically couldn't play CS during your prime, and obviously you were stuck in Israel as well, you weren't in the international scene. In fact, back then, because people like Spinx and Flames hadn't been picked up, there wasn't even a chance necessarily to go from Israel and be in a top team in the West, etc. Even though you say all that, NertZ, some people could argue the chances now. It's been the last few years, and it's now like you still got the chance to be one of the best players. If people watched their aim, they actually would probably be surprised how old you are, mate. Like you look like a young aimer. In fact, I think because you're like young in your career, people even say you're like a youngster, even though you're not. By the way, you're like one of the like middle to older players. Do you not feel like this is the chance now to get the championships and be a top player, etc.?
Sure, this is the time. This is the time for sure. I feel like I'm still improving. From day to day, I'm grinding a lot. I'm grinding like 18 years old.
Right.
And when I will feel that I'm not improving, I will ask myself the question what I need to do with my career. But right now, I still feel that I'm keeping improving, and we can see that by the statistics, by my gameplay, and I really believe that I can make. We can make damage, really good damage in with Liquid.
Right? People, this will sound like a weird question, but it's going somewhere, right? Last year, when FaZe wasn't doing so great, and obviously previously people thought their best player was Rops, right? And he was having like a little bit of a slump in his career. He actually did an interview where he made some weird comment that was like the headline, that was like, I'm not like a simple or a Ziwu or, like a Monocene. He was sort of, it sounded like he was downplaying himself. And actually famously, I released a DM where I showed that. I actually messaged him like, what the fuck? Like, okay, maybe you're not like Ronaldo or Messi, but in this analogy, you're like fucking Gareth Bale or something. Like, you're the best of all the other players though, mate. Like, if I was you, I'd feel really cool. But anyway, I won't say what he said, but essentially he gets it. it. Like, he was being like humble in the sense he's saying he's not like Modesty or Donk or whatever. But don't worry, he definitely knows he's really into the game and can be one of the best players. Even though you've been very polite towards people like those great players, do you feel similarly? Like, if I take those players out of the equation, Donk, Modesty, Ziwu, NertZ could be the next best player after that. You could be there with Nico and people like that, right? Is that plausible?
I would say I can compete with like the top. For me, I will say I will be honest. I will always believe that I will always try to kind of be the Lulu. I would say and say I can be better than Donk and Monesi, but I truly believe I can be top 5 in the world. There is no doubt about it, for sure.
Are you someone, by the way, do you actually like take pride in being a CS player and an esports athlete? How do people receive you back home now you've had all the success? Like you said before, it was sort of considered a sport in Israel. Do people get it now that they've seen the money you're making in the big tournaments and the stadiums? Do they get it, do you think?
I mean, now they see it. After I succeed in the in tier 1. They see like I've been in a big crowd. Say, like, for example, when you open Wikipedia, they can see the money. Obviously, they don't know how much I get and everything. I'm not talking about all of this kind of stuff.
Right.
But you know, I feel like that I'm not talking about it. I'm not saying I'm NertZ from I'm playing CS. In my hometown, my name is Guy, and this is my friends. I know I have few friends. This is how I like to be. I don't like to talk about CS when I'm home with my friends. Yeah.
What about, this is like a bit of a trick question because most players, I kind of know what they might say, but I'm interested in your case. I have actually always thought in a weird way, when you're someone who hasn't had enough trophies, like you've been in finals and semis and you've been in playoffs and majors, I feel like not having won the trophies, some players, that keeps them really hungry though. That keeps them like you say, on the grind, it keeps them driven. Like it's not enough to be second or third. You're someone who wants to win trophies, right? You've been in positions, maybe ENCE could have done it. Obviously, they did one time. HEROIC was almost there. Now it's time to, you want to win trophies. It's a big deal to you, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like for me, it's the most important thing to win as a team. To win the major, for me, it's like, there is no way I'm going to stop. I don't think you will see Thorin. You will not see, in my age, I'm 25 years old. There is no one in the tier 1 team that's grinding like me.
Right.
There is no way. I didn't check it, but if you will give me one player like that, I will say there is no way. I'm doing everything. I'm grinding like animal to be the best. To be my best version.
All right, I have one weird question for you, which is at the moment, if we look at all the Israeli players, in general, what's weird is the first big name one was Spinx, and he's the only one that no one knows if he's going to be on a team. Everyone else is in teams. Heavy God's in G2, you're in Team Liquid, Flames is in fucking Vitality, obviously Xertion's in Mouse. Like, he's just sat on the bench right now and no one knows what's going to happen to him. Do you have any thoughts on, like, Spinx as a player, like his style? Is there something? What's going on? Is he tricky to deal with behind the scenes or something? What's your take on what's happened to him? Because I never thought he'd be without a team. This guy looked really good.
He's insane individually. I think he's really nice to be around, outside the server, inside the server. He's a good teammate. I myself kicked him from my team back then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't believe like this guy can do this amount of damage, but I feel like he's belonged to the best team in the world. And I think in short time, maybe after Kato, probably I heard there are some teams that gonna make changes after Kato.
Right. Okay.
So you will see him very soon in another team. I'm pretty sure. We are not talking about this kind of stuff like with the teams and CS, and it's not like hate each other. We are respecting. We are playing, but we are playing together. But I'm pretty sure, from what I know, we will join very soon to another team.
Okay. Right at the end of this interview, do you have any final message for people? Do you want to thank someone or say hello?
Thank you for watching, guys. It was I want to say, Thorin, that I'm watching your content for a long time.
Oh, fair enough.
And I'm happy to be here. And thank you. Thank you that I had the option to show myself.
They say no man is an island. We all need people who've got our back. And supporting me and the content on my channel are the following people: Matt Pugnatio Rajcula, The Concept, Animosity, Bane Diesel, Ben Glass, Jason, Jensen Gore, Tosh, Toucan, and you know it. Always a special thanks goes up to my main man, Jerky's Minion. Do you want to ask a question for my video AMA? Do you want to take part in one of those lengthy discussions where I talk about whatever topics are on your mind? Do you want teasers, find out who the upcoming guests are, or maybe even to suggest a guest or a topic for my content? If any of those perks or others catch your fancy, well, put your money where your mouth is and join the Skrill Illuminati today, where? In the Patreon link in the description box below.